Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Spectre Approved Podcast, a podcast where two people play a game in which the main protagonist is a gigantic asshole. I'm your host Adam, and I'm joined once again by Fenris.
That's me, and you're right, this guy was not a likable character. It's a good thing I didn't have to hear him talk.
Yeah, good one. We will get to that though. Yeah, not what I was expecting from Drakengard, but yeah, we'll get into that with our first impressions. So the game we played this fortnight, everyone, is Drakengard, known as Dragon Dragoon in Japan, which is just wild.
Yeah.
A wild fucking title. Developed by Cavia and published by Square Enix. Co-written by Yoko Taro, who would go on to become one of the most distinctive storytellers in gaming. Around 2001-2002, when development began, Square wanted a game that blended Dynasty Warriors style hack and slash with Panzer Dragoon style aerial dragon combat. But the creative team wanted something darker. And that's definitely true.
I was about to say, oh boy, they got what they wanted.
Yeah, most definitely. Taro-san said multiple times they wanted to explore themes that were taboo, violent, and emotionally uncomfortable. He was fascinated by the idea that gameplay killing endless enemies should be reflected in the story in a morally challenging way. The result was a game world obsessed with religion, nihilism, loss, and cruelty. Drakengard was built to accommodate ground combat, aerial combat, and a branching story. The multi-genre design was ambitious for the PS2 and pushed the hardware to its limits. Frame rate drops and repetition in the game have become infamous, but they're part of the game's strange charm. That was directly quoted from a Polygon article. I don't know that I really agree with that. But we'll get to that when we talk about gameplay. So produced by Takamasa Shiba and Takuya Iwakashi. Artist was Kimihiko Fujisaka. Writers were Yoko Taro and Sawako Notori. Composers were Nobuyoshi Sano and Takayuki Aihara. Sorry for any butchering there. Released on the PlayStation 2 in Japan, September 11, 2003, and rest of the world, March and May 2004. And there was also a mobile port in August 2004 for PAL regions. I don't know how the fuck you would play this on a mobile device from 2004, if I'm being honest.
I don't either.
BlackBerry? Were Blackberries around in 2004?
Yeah, Blackberries are around. Yeah, they're definitely around then.
Maybe a BlackBerry. That last lot of information was from Wikipedia, so maybe take that with a grain of salt. I think as well, before we dive into too much on this episode, in particular, our spoiler wall, I do want to throw out a content warning. Because depending on the choices you make in this game, there are themes surrounding child murder, violence against children, and pedophilia. So I just want to make that references. Nothing in the content itself explicitly shows it, but there are lots of references throughout. This is definitely what I would term at the higher end when we talk about dark fantasy shit.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't expecting the game to be quite as dark as this, but then again, this is my first Yoko Taro game, so I didn't really know what I was getting into.
Yeah, same here. And I tried to keep myself as spoiler free, but this game isn't super talked about. It wasn't until I started in I guess mainstream stuff. By all means, it's got its hardcore fans, but I really had to like dive deep to get to some of like the more, because I'm gonna be honest, I finished this game and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So when I dove a bit deeper for like the developer stuff and a bit more clarification on the endings, yeah, I had no idea how dark the game was going to be. I played this on PC emulated because I don't own a PS2.
I did the same.
Yeah. And the game took me 8.5 hours to complete endings A through C.
It took me about the same amount of time just to get through the first ending. Just because I did a lot of running around and backtracking.
Yep. Yeah, I used a guide because I heard if you can get some good weapons early on, it makes the game a hell of a lot easier for you. Because, yeah, the combat is not good.
No, not at all.
Or playing it for 8.5 hours or 9 hours of this type of combat is not good. But I had the exact opposite reaction for my initial gut, because I was super excited because I'd heard the story was really good. Patron and resident expert in things Yoko Taro, Dane, had told me that Nier Automata, was excellent, and I had heard general consensus that the two Nier games were really good, so I was really excited to explore the lineage and history of that series.
I was hesitant getting started in this game just because it doesn't seem to have aged well. And as we talked about, I think it was our last episode, I've become kind of spoiled with quality of life features and most modern games. So
yeah,
and
same here.
Yeah, this is my first Yoko Taro game. I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know it was a hack and slash. All I knew was that there were dragons and that you could ride them.
Yeah, yep. I've heard this game described as a game about a boy who hates himself, hates his dragon, and hates his sister.
Yeah.
He just hates everything.
Yeah.
Kaim is not a good boy protagonist. But then why did I pick this series? Well, I picked this series because I'd heard Nier was so good. And both Fenris and I are masochists because we like playing game series from their start. And that was gonna be Drakengard. I'd also heard really good things about Drakengard 3 from PS3. PS3 was a a console generation that I really missed out on, I think, because I was a 360 boy, as I talk about in our Patreon, patreon.com/Spectre approved. So I'd really missed out on a lot of JRPGs, I guess, because they were really Sony exclusive. Sony really cornered the market in JRPGs around this time period, probably for like between 2000 and 2010.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? It's not something I actually really thought about until you said it.
Yeah, and because I didn't own many Sony consoles at all apart from the PS1, and even then I didn't buy games for it, so I really missed JRPGs. So when coming back and re-educating myself on older JRPGs, it means I have to emulate it now, but it means that I didn't experience a lot of these at the time. So what I expected going in, I knew about the combat. I knew that it was a mix of Dynasty Warriors and Panzer Dragoon. I have played Panzer Dragoon and didn't mind it. I have played Dynasty Warriors and don't mind it. I guess playing both or either of those types of combat for too long is going to be frustrating for me, to say the least. So my immediate reaction during the first hour was, this is alright. I hope it doesn't go on for too long. Because I feel like at least in the first verse of this game, or the first act, sorry, they break it down
Yeah, it's like
like
7 or
a
8
poem
acts.
or like a music.
Yeah, and there's like
Yeah.
7 or 8 acts, and each of those acts are broken up into verses. But there's no
Yeah.
clear distinction of when one verse ends and another begins. You just kind of play through
Mm-hmm.
the act, and that's about it.
Yep. Yeah. I feel like the monotonous of the combat is broken up quite well with cutscenes. And I think it did make the game go a bit quicker than I was expecting. So I was quite positive by the end of my first hour with this game.
I was not, because hack and slashers are not really my thing. I kind of saw where this game was going, and I saw the infinite loop of never-ending combat, and I did not have a very good outlook on the rest of the game. The flight mechanics for the dragon kind of threw me for a loop for a minute, and it was kind of difficult to control. There are points in aerial combat where you have to shoot down certain points of a dirigible, a blimp. I don't know what it was, but it's shooting at you, so you have to do drive-bys and shoot it out of the sky. And while you're trying to sit there doing aerial combat while dodging, munitia, it was just a little difficult to get a grasp on the controls.
Yeah, that's fair. Flying controls, I think, are unwieldy at the best of times, particularly from this generation. I can only imagine how much of a struggle it would have been on a PS controller. Had we had two sticks on a PS2 controller
I think we did
at this time?
Yeah,
we must have. Yeah, DualShock. Yeah. My biggest, I guess, problem moving down into gameplay and mechanics, unless you want to talk any more about your first hour with the game.
No, that was pretty much it.
No. The camera was my biggest drama with this, and I get fixed camera for this time period. It wasn't until lots and lots of feedback started happening from gamers that we had a roaming camera, but that was my biggest, I guess, hold up.
The camera was so bad.
Gameplay, yeah. And this is on the ground, I should say. The camera with the dragon, I think, is something you get used to over time.
Yeah.
And ended up being not so bad. I actually ended up preferring the flying sections as opposed to the ground sections by the end of this game. If only because it helped me traverse the land quicker and helped me get the missions out the way quicker when you could move between either being on your dragon or walking. Because the gameplay loop, what you're doing most of the time is depending on the mission parameters. So you're either watching a cutscene, you're on the ground with the intention of killing like multiple targeted priority targets, I guess, for want of a better word, or you're in the air fighting airships or other dragons or blasting troops. Because some missions you either had to just kill priority targets, or some missions you had to kill everyone on the map.
Yeah. And I think what gets me about hack and slash games like this is the fact that it's just monotonous to a degree. Because I've never really played hack and slash games, but I've seen them played, and it's just wave after wave of enemies are being thrown at your face, and you have to fight your way through them. And I can see how some people would find that enjoyable. I personally do not.
Yep.
There wasn't a whole lot of exploration. There wasn't. The one thing that I did kind of like was the weapon system and how you could interchange weapons mid-combat. Because I only picked up a very few amount of weapons, but you pushed, I think it was like R1 or something, and that pulled up like a weapon wheel, and you just scroll through the weapons and picked whichever one you wanted to do. Yeah, like you said, my biggest issue with the combat, particularly the ground combat, was the camera, because I found myself multiple times trying to swivel the camera because there was a target that was behind me or something, and I was, I turned around to try and attack them, and I'm attacking the camera, and it's just frustrating.
Yeah. Apparently you could like hold the stick to like put the camera directly behind you, but you need to be holding the stick fully, like either clockwise or counterclockwise, to be able to do that. I found out after I'd been playing the game. I just kind of tried to roll with it as best I could. I actually had my second biggest issue was the actual ground combat itself, and like the input lag from being able to press a button to Kaim swinging his weapon, because there was like your ranged attack, I guess you could do, like to finish off a combo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was a magic attack on circle/B, but also like just him swinging the weapon just felt really shit.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, you had these combos that you could do where the weapon flashed, because you're pretty much just mashing the bottom button, X for PlayStation, A for Xbox, and you're just doing that over and over and over again, and then at some point, like your weapon builds up some kind of stamina bar or something, and it flashes, and whenever your weapon flashes, you hit another button, and it's supposed to do like this super special move, but I always missed it, so I just went for the basic combo and stopped trying to do the special attack.
Yeah, I would kind of try and cheese the system, particularly with like the bigger enemies that would just like, if they hit you, just take off a lot of health. I'd do the like running attack, which was kind of like an AoE.
Yeah.
When you built up your run and did it there, it kind of took everyone out in a half circle arc in front of you. Because did you have a problem with health and maintaining it in this game at all?
I don't know. Was there a health bar?
Yeah.
Was it at the very bottom of the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that. I played this entire game, and the bottom part of that screen was cut off, because at the bottom part of the UI, you have I get a gauge or something with like these balls, these little interconnecting balls or something. It's like your magic ability things and how many times you could use it.
Yep.
My screen cut off right below that. So, like, I poured through all the settings in RetroArch, and I Googled a bunch of things, and I changed a bunch of settings, and I never could get the bottom part of my screen to show up. So I was running without a health bar. So I guess I got lucky and never died.
Okay.
From my health reaching 0, because I didn't know I had a health
bar. Sweet. That's really good. because I died quite a bit until I found some better weapons. One thing I will give this game credit for is the level up system, because you don't level up Kaim or your dragon. You level up the weapons, and that causes them to do more damage.
Yeah.
And you have like 4 different tiers, I guess, of that. And you were definitely right in saying being able to access weapons is cool, because you can access 8 weapons on the wheel at a time if you have that many, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you meet any of the allies at all to be able to use them in combat with you?
I don't think so.
Okay. So throughout the game, you have the opportunity to recruit 3 different party members, and you can go back and, I guess, swap Kaim out for them, and they all have different kind of powers that you can use. They can only be summoned 3 times per level, and you can only choose one, I guess, to be... They're essentially a summon, to summon throughout. Because the female party member is quite OP, and she saved my ass quite a few times.
Nice.
Do
you feel like the game... go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I also felt that it was a benefit that there wasn't like a crafting system or anything like this. You just literally go to a chest and pick out your weapon from there.
Yeah.
I think the simplicity was definitely a positive, I guess, for this game, because you had so much going on on the screen at any one time.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I personally didn't have any frame rate drops.
I didn't either. There's none that I could
no,
tell.
So unless that was like an original hardware thing. But I'm torn on whether the game respected my time. Like 8 hours for a PS2 JRPG, not really that long. And I do feel like the cutscenes were quite well spaced. And there were like verses where you just like walk forward and you'd be progress to the next level from there.
Yeah.
Which I also liked. Yeah, looking at it from a modern sense, no. But at the time, I could see this being more than fine.
I don't know if I agree with you there, just from my personal standpoint. But, that's also just me. Because, like I said, I'm not really a fan of hack and slash games, and, I do prefer a good story, and I don't see endless waves of enemies coming at you that you have to fight through with janky controls fun.
Yep.
So it just might be the spoiled gamer in me that's saying that, now that I'm thinking about it.
Which is more than fine as well, because we are looking at this as our first go, like, from a couple of weeks ago. So
yeah,
that's more than respectable as well. Were there subtitles in the cutscenes? I can't even remember. I don't think there were.
No, there weren't. No. But the voice acting in the cutscenes was done well enough to where I felt like I didn't need them if there were.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
The dragon sounded a bit too much like Frieza for my liking, but apart from that, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Save system. I felt like the missions were short enough that the autosave was fine.
Yeah, I noticed that too, because I don't recall saving a whole lot, and anytime I got fed up with something and turned it off, it was just kind of like I went back at the beginning of that checkpoint or the mission I was on, so it was fine by me too.
Yep.
Wait, is this going to be our first positively emulated game?
Uh.
Well, I've already had something wrong with it, so no.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The bottom of the screen
Yeah.
or something else. Yeah. Yes, because we didn't emulate Chrono Cross or Chrono Trigger.
Nope.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Music, sound, and visuals.
I got very
Depressing.
Yeah.
Is how I would describe this music.
Yeah,
but it's meant to be.
it is because of the story. We became very intimate with the combat music.
Mm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just because, there's a lot of combat.
Yeah, and I say that the missions were short, but because there was a timer and you could fail a mission if you ran out of time, which I didn't really notice till after the fact. I never really felt pressed for time, I guess, throughout. But that's still like 20 minutes per mission.
Yeah, and if I recall, like the timer, there was like a time limit. Not just a standard time limit to complete the mission, but like you gained more experience the shorter amount of time you did it in or something like that, but you also gained experience for the amount of enemies that you killed. So it was kind of like kill as many people as you can, including the targets, in as short amount of time.
Yeah. Which, just sorry to jump back into combat, the combat didn't really support that type of speedrun gameplay.
No.
At all. But I'm hoping it's something and it seems like it's something they really gripped up in the later titles.
Yeah.
Anyway. Because, like, realistically, this was probably a proof of concept, as a lot of first games in new IPs are. But back to music and sound effects, I guess, as well. I didn't notice too much variety in, like, weapons sound effects. I don't think there was, because you're apparently meant to be, and we'll get there a bit more when we get to story, in the middle of a massive war. But it felt like it was just... And apparently Kayam's like a commander. So apparently you're meant to have a unit following you as you go. Just not helping you with the actual fighting, which I find absolutely wild. Which probably plays in a bit with Kayam's mindset at the time. But I digress. I'm jumping too much in the story. Sound effects. Weapon slashing and hitting sounded the same, no matter whether I was hitting a small or large enemy, unarmored to armored. The magic missiles when you're riding your dragon were pretty cool.
Yeah. That was a mechanic that I really, really enjoyed, was the fact that you could shoot one ball of fire, or you could shoot multiple balls of fire, and the auto targeting on that was pretty cool, because you would hold down a button and then move the screen around, and it would lock on to X amount of enemies, and then you would just release the button and the dragon would shoot X amount of fireballs at the enemies. And I feel like it really sped combat up, especially with the amount of enemies that you had to defeat in the air.
Yep.
So,
voice acting, like you said, it was pretty good overall. I'm just looking at the cast now. There's no one super standout to me. Inuart's voice actor was fucking shit, I thought.
Yeah,
I don't know.
he was the bard character, wasn't he?
He was the best friend.
Yeah. That that whole
Yeah. Oh,
triangle thing.
yeah. The singer.
Yeah, that whole little triangle thing was fucking weird.
Yeah.
But
We'll get there.
we'll get there.
Oh, the fairy, who you might not have had too much to do with if you didn't recruit a certain character, was voiced by Wendy Lee. She's done a heap of anime. The dragon was voiced by Mona Marshall in... Oh, sorry, did you play this in English or Japanese?
English.
Yep. Mona Marshall, she has a lot of South Park credits, which is quite funny. Doesn't voice Frieza. Voices Izzy from Digimon.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought that's why her name sounded familiar.
Yeah, and Miwa from Blue Exorcist, if you've watched
I
that
have,
series
yeah.
at all. Yeah, the guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, look, it's a mid-2000s JRPG. The voice acting is going to be average.
Average. Very. I feel like the visual style for this game fit very thematically. The color palette was very dark. A lot of dark. That's the best word I can use to describe it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It would be if Final Fantasy 16 was made for the PS2, I feel, in terms of the art direction.
Yeah.
Because some parts of that world are also very dark.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably even more align it to Stranger's Paradise. Lots of blacks, lots of reds. Yeah, fantastic.
And as we've already discussed, we emulated it, and our PCs are good enough that we didn't really get too many frame drops. I didn't have any glitches outside of emulation errors, but that's probably just a user thing, so.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, maybe the PS2 hardware. When did the PS2 life cycle kind of end? Hey,
That is a good
what are we looking
question.
at? 2004. Oh no, so we're mid. I don't remember the PS3 coming out till about 2008, 2009. So we're still mid in the cycle.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just poorly optimized, I guess,
Jeez.
for the tech at the
I
time.
didn't realize the PS2 life cycle was as long as it was. It was 13 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but still ages off the PS3.
Yeah.
So no real excuse, I guess, for frame rate drops.
Yeah.
So basic premise.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was just about to ask you because I still have no clue.
Okay.
Except
Yeah,
you run around and fight a bunch of things.
so this is from the Wikia. Drakengard takes place in a medieval dark fantasy world called Midgard. I had no idea about that before I read it. There's very little world building itself. You kind of just chuck straight into the action.
No.
The world is protected from falling into chaos by the seals, objects magically linked to a woman chosen as the goddess of the seal. Which I don't know if that's true, because there's a point later on in the game where a male character has a potential to become a seal. So I thought it was very gender neutral. But anyway. If the seals and the goddess are destroyed, malevolent beings known as Watchers would enter the world to destroy humanity. Key element of the world is the ability for a human and a beast to form a pact, a ritual that ties their souls together and grants great power. Their lives become bound by the pact, and the human pays a price in the form of some attribute, as we find out. During the events of Drakengard, the Union, which protects the seals, is in the midst of a religious war with the Empire, a power led by a cult who believe that destroying the seals will bring them good fortune. The main characters are Kaim, a deposed prince of the Union, and a red dragon, who I won't reveal her name because that's a spoiler. Joining Kaim and the dragon in optional sections of the story are Leonard, a hermit who loses his brothers in an attack by the Empire, Ariok, an elf woman driven mad by the murder of her family, and Sia, a young boy from the Empire whose village was destroyed by the cult's devotees. Other prominent characters are Furie, Kaim's sister and the current goddess of the seal, Inuart, Furie's former fiancé, Verdale, a priest in charge of protecting the seal, and Mana, Sia's sister and leader of the enemy cult, the main game's antagonist.
Yeah.
So I guess you enter the game as Kaim leading an attack on Empire forces who are trying to get to Furie to get her to open the seals.
Mm-hmm.
You fight your way through the castle, you meet Inuart. Before that, you go to the courtyard of the castle where the Empire has a dragon chained down, and Kaim is also wounded, I believe, as well. To save yourselves, you form a pact together in which your lives are intertwined, and with Kaim paying the price of losing his speech.
Yeah. The thing about the pact is it's kind of an enemy of my enemy thing, because Kaim also, in this cutscene, we don't know why yet, but we find out that Kaim hates dragons. So in order to save his sister and defeat the enemy forces, he does the only thing that he feels he has the option to, which is make this pact with this dragon.
Yeah, and I think the dragon also, she doesn't have a very good relationship with humans because she's quite remiss to go into the pact as well.
Yeah.
At that point, yeah. But yeah, you form the pact with the dragon. Kaim loses his voice, as shown in a funny little sprite pop up where he pokes out his tongue. And he's got the seal on his tongue, and that's how you kind of find out, because you fight your way to Furie and Inuart, and Inuart's like, "Oh, why aren't you talking, Kaim?" And he just like opens his mouth and pokes out his tongue, and that's how you find out that Kaim paid the price.
That is something about this game that I really enjoyed, was the sprite work for dialogue. I thought that how they were drawn differently for different things really kind of added to the characters and how they were written. It kind of gave them a more human feel instead of just pictures on a screen. Yeah,
100%. Any emotional impact from, I guess, the one playthrough you did?
Honestly, the entire story was really dark, but I can't get over the without spoiling it. I can't get over the love triangle.
Okay.
I don't know why that is such a thing in Japan. I really don't.
And yeah, we'll talk about that more in the spoiler section, I guess. But you guys can guess with what we mean by the love triangle.
Yeah.
There was a part where I think it was ending B or C, or leading up to ending B or C, where one of your party characters, you find out their backstory, and I wanted to kill them in that moment, and I was quite pissed that I couldn't. So that was a big emotional impact from that for myself. I'll talk about that more in the spoiler wall, though. I feel like the characters were really tropey, but they were well written to their tropes.
Yeah.
I really liked how sassy the dragon was.
And she really did, her sassiness really reminded me of Saphira. It really did.
Because she was like, she had a mind link with Kym still, so she could read his thoughts, but she'd like talk for him, obviously on multiple accounts, but sometimes she'd just change completely what he wanted to say.
Because a dragon's gonna dragon, you can't control them.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like that relationship was actually really well written as well, because she wasn't necessarily supportive of his quest for revenge, because she already, and I hope I'm not spoiling one of the endings here because I don't remember when it was, but they were having a conversation about how she acknowledged the darkness in humanity, but that being separate from the evil of it. Because like we said, Kym's an asshole. He's focusing on killing like just everyone, I guess, to protect his sister.
Yeah. I don't know if that spoils an ending or not. But I do remember either reading or seeing that conversation happen. Because, I mean, even though I only finished up through the first ending, I did go through and read up on what happens in the others.
Yep. Well, apparently ending A is what is canonical to lead into the events of Drakengard 2 anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess at the base level, you've played the main portion of the story anyway. Other endings linked to, or one other ending links to, like the Nier pathway, for want of a better word, but we'll talk through exactly what that means in the spoilers, because that's kind of, this is a branching storyline in the most literal way of saying that, because different endings lead to different games, which is pretty consistent with Taro-san's writing in general, I think.
Yeah, and when you say branching, what you mean by that is to get to a different ending. It's not like you have to replay the entire game from the beginning. You can just pick a chapter and start from there.
Yeah,
which is
thank
a
God.
really nice feature.
Which apparently they changed in the sequel.
Oh no.
So it may just be both of us doing ending A in the sequel. Because I'm not willing to play through a game 5 times.
No.
Particularly if they don't improve the gameplay. Because we're still on the PS2 for Drakengard 2, so... without getting too much into that. For me, the story was compelling enough to carry the gameplay.
I can agree.
Yeah. This was really well crafted, and whilst overall on the outset of it I'm just like, oh yeah, it's the religious crazies fighting the monarchy, as is the plot for so many things. I think Kym and his relationship to his family and the dragon in particular was definitely compelling enough to carry through.
Oh, absolutely. I forgot where I was going with that. Anytime I can, words, stupid ADHD brain. Anytime I can soak up a story that involves a bonded rider and dragon, whether they have a good bond or not. Like, I automatically am going to enjoy that aspect of whatever it is that I'm doing, just
Mm.
because I think that is such an interesting concept between rider and dragon. And again, that's probably touching on my readings of Aragon. So,
Yep. The world, and I think you spoke on this a little bit earlier, the world did feel quite immersive for what it was, though. You did go to your different biomes. I fucking hated the forest.
I
And I think you feel the same.
yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't the best part of the game. I feel like it could have been done better.
The premise in itself at the time, which was going to find the elves to stop the seal that was in the forest being destroyed, was fine. But I think it was more an issue with the gameplay. Because, correct me if I'm wrong or if you experience something different, I'd go on the ground, get my ass handed to me, so I'd go and fly on the dragon and then get shot down by magic users.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
The first time I
Not just me.
yeah, the first or second act of, or the first or second verse of the second act, where I think it's after you go and talk to the elves and you have to go somewhere else. I don't really remember. Is the first time you come across the magic casters, and then you're flying on the dragon, and you have to be constantly dodging, or else they'll one shot the dragon, and then you'll fall to the ground, and then you'll be surrounded by a bunch of people. And that was a point where I had to put the game down for a couple days because it was just frustrating because I couldn't seem to get any kind of headway. And that's when you pointed out to me that there was a pretty special weapon in the first act of the that I had to go back and get, and that's where I started backtracking and doing a whole bunch of weapon farming. So, yeah, magic users are bad. I did not like them.
Yeah.
As we've already discussed, there are multiple endings. There's A, B, C, D, and E.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, 5 endings.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and then I didn't apparently know this, but there are side quests that are also optional.
Yeah, so the way, and I've forgotten what the exact triggers are. I might quickly try and look them up before our spoiler war. However, they were things like kill a certain amount of people before a certain time limit, and that will unlock a different verse, and you'll be able to tell the difference from the side quest verse being in Roman numerals compared to Romanized, like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are side quests to recruit side characters who are also awful people, but powerful in their own ways. I think there's more than enough content. There was no way I was going to get all 63 weapons.
Yeah,
to get the last ending.
I think I only got like 10 or 15 weapons by the end of the game.
Yeah.
I don't, for a game as short as 10 hours, I don't understand why 63 weapons are viable. I feel like that's a little bit too much.
Yep. Yeah. But, and it does something that I didn't really like when Halo did it. Just gating cutscenes behind busy work. Not the greatest fan of it, but understand it because you want people to get the most out of your game.
Yeah.
There was more than enough content, particularly in the combat sections.
Yeah, I hard agree. And then I think a moment that stuck out to me was definitely probably the dragon revealing her name. That was a pretty big twist for me.
Yep. Yeah, and that was, I think, why ending A will probably like fits well as like they could have kept it at ending A, and that would have been a great game story wise.
Yeah.
I think, which I can see why it being the one that leads into Drakengard 2 then was a good choice to have it at the start. Yeah, 100%. Very emotional, and a good ending. If they made Drakengard a movie, I would suggest they put that as like the canon ending, for want of a better word.
Yeah. Another personal takeaway of mine is like I feel like I would be willing to purchase this game if they made a remake. You know, updated the combat a little bit, kept the story the same. I feel like I would be willing to replay this if it was remade.
Yep, 100%. If they made the combat like Horror Warriors Age of Calamity, which has like fast sword work, the ability to do combos, like juggling attacks, all that kind of stuff you see in modern combat experiences, 100%. Yep.
Yeah.
Would pay money for it.
What would you rate it?
I'm going to rate this a fun, with a slight caveat that you should probably play a franchised Muso game first to see if this will be for you. I think this is a great story-based game, and the flying sections I ended up really enjoying. But if you want to put in for the long haul, especially if you are the type that has to complete all endings of a game before you finish with it, I would suggest playing a Muso like franchise-based game, so like Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, Fire Emblem Warriors, something like that, to see. Even like the Fate Muso games were pretty good, to see if it's something that you want to go in for, because you'll be playing at least 6 hours of swinging your sword.
Yeah. For me, I'm giving it a not fun. The story was good. It was compelling. It's the only thing that really kept me going. The aerial combat was the best combat of the entire game, and seeing how this game was built around combat, I feel like, as aside from the story, the most important part of the game, I know it's dated and I know it didn't age well, and I am looking at this through lenses that were made in 2025. Like it's an old game. The combat is not good, and for a game that is 90% combat, like it's just kind of took me out of it.
Yep. And like I don't think you're really alone there, because even podcaster cohorts that have covered this game, the main ones that I have listened to didn't go past ending A themselves when they were covering it for their own podcast. So I think it is a very, very rough game to get to, but I just hope that more people experience it in a way that works for them, because they've either played Nier or Nier Automata. God, I can't wait to get to that podcast, because I'm going to stuff that up every time.
I mean, I call it Automata too, just because everyone else goes Automata. So.
because the combat is so fluid in those games, I think this game has gotten more spotlight because it's the origins of it. but I guess people should just experience it in the way they want to.
Yeah, see, and that was a worry of mine, was that Nier Automata was, a hack and slash infinite enemies kind of thing, and you assured me that it was not. Because I don't know anything about it except people are in love with the main character for whatever reason, because she's a Japanese
a big
chick.
titty,
yeah, a big titty goth girl
big
with
titty
a big
android
sword and thigh-high leggings and, scantily clad, so,
Yeah. Straight bait if there ever was.
Yeah, pretty much. So shout-outs.
Yeah, thank you everyone for listening thus far, and please continue on to past our spoiler wall if you would like to not play the game but hear what the endings are about. I'm just quickly checking. I don't think we received any correspondence for this one, but I am just double checking to see if there was anything last minute.
Okay.
And there wasn't. Nope. So thank you once again though. If you would like to support us, head on over to patreon.com/Spectre approved, where for as little as $3.50 US, $5 Australian per month, you get an early release of episodes and some additional content at the beginning, where we just talk about general stuff that's going on for us, our anime, what we're playing, all those sorts of things, and also a top 3 listing of something related to the game that we're playing thus far. You also have the opportunity to put forward a game for us to play, and we'll give you the opportunity to guest on that show with us if you have availability to do so. If you would like to just join somewhere free where a bunch of cool people hang out, head on over to our Discord, bit.ly/TSMP Discord, all caps, where the Steam Machine Network folks hang out. Bunch of great people. We've got Secret Santa coming up. If you would like to join that before December, head on over and jump in. Free to sign up. We mainly just share our Steam wish lists and buy a game from there that our friends have.
Yeah. I still got to sign up for that.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Speaking of Discord, we are led by a man called Dalton Suter, aka Now the Nightmare. If you enjoy the music bits at the beginning and ending of each episode, you can go and find his music at nowthenightmare.bandcamp.com. He has a lot of electronic music on Bandcamp. He does all the music, all the tracks himself. I think he's put some of his rap stuff on Bandcamp. I can't remember. If you want to just listen to other stuff he's done, he also has a YouTube under the name Dalton Suter. So go listen to his vocal covers and guitar music and all that other stuff. I know his rap stuff is on there. So go and chuck him a like and a follow. It really is good. He is a hidden gem. And I feel like if he focused more on his music, he could go somewhere with it.
Mm-hmm.
So where can we find
100% agree.
you?
Yeah. You can find me everywhere under the show Spectre Approved, Blue Sky, X, Instagram, Infinite Backlog as well, if you would like to put any correspondence about our upcoming games. And I've also put a game list up there for basically everything that we have planned. I think we're looking at probably 8 months ahead with the list there, including some potential spoilers. So head on over to Infinite Backlog /Spectre Approved there.
Mm-hmm. You can find me at Fenris Wolfsbane everywhere. That's Discord, Steam, Epic, EA, GOG, Final Fantasy XIV on Gilgamesh. I'm also under Infinite Backlog as BD Jensen 90. So Come add me as a friend. I'm lonely. I only have one friend, and that's Adam.
Oh, I'm sure you'll have plenty more after that. So if you could be so kind as to rate, review, share, and put up any questions that you might have for our upcoming episodes, it would be very much appreciated. I do have a little rant to add in here. Spotify recently closed every time I tried to play a podcast. Don't know whether that was a mobile thing or not, but since then I've moved over to Podcast Addict, which I highly recommend. You can't rate or review shows there, but it will at least give us a download.
Yep.
So very much appreciated. Our next game will be Ion Fury, for which we'll hopefully be having lovely patron Dane, who chose that game for us, on to guest there. And then we'll be having a quick break over Christmas. However, Fenris and I have recorded, well, Fenris has recorded, I still have yet to record some individual episodes of games that we've really enjoyed throughout the year, to give you guys more content over the holiday break.
Yeah. And as for... I had it up and then I changed it. Hold on. For the music, did you have something in mind?
Anything except the battle track.
Anything except...
I'll go through the OST.
Okay. Yeah, so Adam will put one piece of music from the OST here for the music break before the spoiler wall.
Cool. And thank you very much once again, everyone. We'll see you on the other side.
Yeah.
welcome back, everyone, on the other side of our spoiler wall, where we will delve into the story of Drakengard 1 and cover off on each of the game's endings.
We've already gone over the opening setup, where the Empire is besieging Fury Eye's castle, and her brother Kaim fights to defend it. He's mortally wounded, and then he finds a dragon, and despite hating dragons, he makes a pact with it. The pact saves them both, but in the process, Kaim loses their voice because that's how pacts with dragons work in this world. So...
Well,
No?
Sorry, I'll just interrupt there. It's not just his voice. It's really individualized.
Oh, yeah, it is.
To the person. Because, as we find when we look at some side characters, they have different parts of their pact.
Yeah, it's just, you're absolutely right. I completely forgot about that. But it's just with Kaim, he loses his voice. But him and the dragon wipe out the Empire's air force. They reunite with Fury Eye, his sister, who is also the goddess. But we don't know anything about that yet. And his childhood friend Inuart. The group flees towards the Seal of the Forest for safety. And they find that the elf village and the seal are already destroyed when they arrive. So Vertile, a priestly figure, calls out magically and tells them to take Fury Eye to the Seal of the Desert. Upon going to save the elf hostages at the Shrine of the Watchers, it's a dead end and they're gone. In the Valley of the Fairies, Kaim meets Leonard, who joins the party. They learn...
Do we want to talk about Leonard here?
We can. I assume he's...
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I really dislike Leonard.
Yeah, he was a character.
Alright. Yeah, so Leonard makes a pact with a fairy, and his price is he loses his sight. Not very strong in terms of you summon, but his overall deal is that he is in hiding at the fairies because he is repressing his pedophilia. Yeah. Because his brothers were in an imperial strike, and he was off indulging himself with impure thoughts, and his brothers died because of that, because he wasn't there to protect him, and he attempts suicide out of survivor's guilt due to that, in which Fairy, his companion, takes vulnerability of that and forms a pact with him.
Gotcha.
They didn't reference pedophilia at all in the English version, because obviously in 2004 that would have been very, very controversial and probably earned the game a ban hammer in Australia and Germany in particular. But in the Japanese version it specifically references it. It just says in the English version that he gave in to impulses.
Oh. Yeah, that would be a good way to cover it up. Which is, I wonder if the original Japanese script did that on, or writers did that on purpose to specifically target him out and make him an unlikable character. I mean, they had to have.
Everyone's freaking unlikable, to be honest.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think there was a character I felt any sort of strong connection with apart from Angelus.
Yeah.
Angelus,
who, by the way, is the dragon. Yeah.
Is the dragon.
But anyway, after that, the party learns that Inuart and Vertile have been captured. The Empire breaks Inuart by torturing him and brainwashing him. because, Empire's gonna empire. And so Enuart makes his own pact with the dragon that killed Kaim's parents.
Yeah. Are we giving context of why he does that at this point?
Probably should.
Oh, no, like, is the player told, though?
I don't think so.
Because I believe this is an ending C path as well that you find this out. Inuart finds out that Furie is in love romantically with Kaim.
Her brother.
Fucking incest.
Fucking
yes.
Japanese.
Yeah, blood.
Incest.
Blood relative. Which causes him to go insanely jealous and forge a pact with the Black Dragon. Because he was her fiance before she was named as the goddess. I don't know why that would prevent them being romantic.
It's
but
probably got something to do with purity, high fantasy things, goddesses, and being untouched or something. I don't know, but it's that whole thing was just fucking weird.
Yeah. I just might jump back to Verdelay quickly, because he has the most funniest pact ever. He sacrificed his hair.
He did, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got his mark tattooed all over his bald head, which I think in terms of packs, like, he got off pretty light.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's ever expressly said, but there's dialogue later on between Inuart and Kaim that he might have lost his pact price, might have been his singing ability, because he sings very well in the early parts of the game. Because he's a bard by nature, like you said. So I don't think it's expressively said, but it's at least hinted at that he gave up his ability to sing.
Yeah, the developers wanted you to know he was a bard because when you first meet him in the castle with Furii, like, the dude just breaks out into random song. It's like, hey, like, time and place, buddy. Like, we're in the middle of a siege. Why are you singing?
Yep. Sorry, I kind of got off topic there, but that's the character backstory. So we're at the desert prison.
Furii is safe, but Inuart's gone. Kaim rescues the Verdelay from prison, but Inuart's missing. They return too late, and the desert seal is already broken. I'm assuming that Ariok is another of the optional party members. Yeah. She
is overpowered as fuck. I love Ariok, despite her propensity to murder and eat children.
Yeah. She is a traumatized elf who is mentally shattered and is very dangerous.
Yep. Kaim brings her into the party so she doesn't hurt herself or anyone else, essentially.
It sounds like the only nice thing he did. Yeah.
Yep.
So around that time, Inuart reappears. He defeats Kaim and kidnaps Furii because he believes he is, quote-unquote, saving her from her fate as the goddess.
Super annoying boss battle. I fucking hated this boss battle so much.
It wasn't great.
Yep. His dragon was just so bloody fast, and like, I know you're meant to lose, but it's just I wish I'd known that at the time. I thought I had to win, so I restarted a couple of times thinking that, like, because I got on such low health, I just restarted the battle.
I just went until I died, and I was like, I'll just retry again, no big deal. And then the game just continued, and I was like, oh, I guess I was supposed to lose. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after Inuart rescues, quote unquote, Furii, the party heads to the Seal of the Ocean. Too late, also destroyed. Vertile explains.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, this was actually a really fantastic storytelling device I found that, and just feeds into like the depressive nature of the game, that you get to the seal just like majority of times just after they've been destroyed. So in like a lightsy cutesy JRPG, you'd be going to the seals and being able to save them.
This one, you're just too late.
Whereas this one, it's just the futility of you being late every time, no matter what. And I really like that.
Gives you a sense of impending doom, which is
yep.
is kind of a nice touch, because I say this often, but like I would like more stories where the main character loses, because, you know, I feel like it is ingrained in us that the good guys always win, and sometimes they don't, and sometimes I would like to see that. But
you are in for a treat with this series then.
Okay. Cool. Anyway, so after they find out that they're too late again to save the Seal of the Ocean, Vertile explains that if all the seals fail, the seeds of destruction appear, and he explains that one human body and one seed equals endless monsters, and that the apocalypse is basically upon them if that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Imperial lands, the group meets Seer, who is a child who made a pact with a golem in exchange for his time, meaning he can't age. And he joins to find his kidnapped sister. A final massive battle happens. The Union wins, kind of. A blast from the sky resurrects all the dead soldiers into an undead army. And then, you know, like, can't be a high fantasy without a floating fortress. So Kaim, the dragon, and Vertile fly up to the floating fortress, and they discover Furii is already dead. And that she killed herself.
Yeah, so confused. I got really confused here about why she committed suicide.
Isn't that exclaimed in one of the endings?
Oh, shit, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like, because I only, in my story notes, I only wrote down ending A, because that's all I got to, but...
Yeah. Oh, yes, I know why. We can wait till the ending for me to say why, but yes.
One of the endings. Yeah.
B, yeah. Just found
so they discover that Furii is already dead because she killed herself, and in doing so, she broke the final seal. And Inuart escapes with her corpse, because why not?
He's a sicko, yep.
And then that's where we get to ending A, where Kaim and the dragon face Mana in the Sky Fortress, and Vertile tries sealing her powers, but it backfires and turns Mana gigantic. They defeat her, she begs for death. Kaim and the dragon refuse because she must live with her guilt. And then, with all the seals destroyed, the world needs a new goddess to contain the chaos. The dragon, offers herself to become the new seal, and Vertile performs a sealing ritual. The dragon uses her final breaths to tell Kaim her true name, which is Angelus, and then they're separated forever, and that's the end.
Yep. Really good ending boss battle. And really good ending, this one, I think. Like I said in the main episode, this game could have stood on its own, I think. Just having one single ending and that being it.
Yeah. So tell us about the other endings.
Yeah, I might just jump back to Ariok for a tick, because I didn't say. So she has twin dragons, Undine and Salamander, which, yeah, she's really powerful. And she gave up her fertility, which is why her seal is on her waist. But ending B, Inuart takes Furier's dead body to a seat of destruction, which resurrects her as an angelic monster. She immediately kills Inuart and engages Kaim in an aerial battle, but is defeated. And at the end, while Kaim holds his sister's body, the other seeds of destruction spawn several copies of the monstrous Furie, and the world or the game ends from there. So that's kind of like the bad ending, I guess. So you go back in time. And go back to find out Mana. We find out a bit more of her backstory here, and it shows a bit more of her relationship with Sia. And we find out that she's High Priestess of the Cult of the Watchers and Sia's sister. She was gravely beaten and left for dead by her mother, which is also the situation that caused Sia to form a pact with his golem. She was possessed by the Watchers, who have since used her to orchestrate the destruction of the seals. So she summons a dragon, which immediately rebels and eats her alive. So now transformed into a chaos dragon, Angelus breaks her pact with Kaim, reveals the dragons are revolting against mankind, and reluctantly challenges him to a duel. After defeating Angelus, Kaim escapes the Sky Fortress to fight off the rest of the dragons. The fucking best ending, in my opinion. Yeah. Really hard fight, because you're stuck in a little room with a bunch of pillars, and Angelus has like powered up into Chaos Dragon mode. She looks fucking epic, all black and spiky, blood red. And I think, yeah, a game which is Kaim fighting the rest of the dragons would have been awesome. And then we've got ending D. In the Ocean Fortress, Sia attempts to talk Mana out of the Cult of the Watchers, but is rejected. He desperately orders the Golem to kill her, and her death unleashes the Grotesqueries and their Queen Beast upon the world. Leonard and Ariok die to the Grotesqueries, which are, if you haven't watched the YouTube video about it, because this was one where you need to collect all the weapons, Grotesqueries are little baby looking like motherfuckers. They're horrendous. The Queen Beast begins to devour all of time and space. Sia offers to sacrifice his pack power and frees her and himself in time. After flying Sia to the Queen Beast's belly, Kaim and Angelus are killed by the Grotesqueries, and the Imperial capital is frozen in a massive black crystal. And then ending E. Instead of using Sia's power, Kaim and Angelus fight the Queen Beast directly. They unleash the time consumed by the Queen Beast, which drops all three of them in Tokyo, Japan in 2003. Defeated in a battle of songs, which is a rhythm game, the Queen Beast crumbles to ashes before Kaim and Angelus are killed by a missile from a Japanese fighter jet, leading to the events of Nier / Nier Gestalt / Nier Replicant.
Interesting.
So yeah, no good endings for anyone, which I really enjoy.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of Elden Ring, because there's no good endings for any of the side quest characters in that game either.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so majority of the endings would have made good games, I think, regardless, and fit the story and tone well.
I can agree.
I think the way to get there was, a bit of a slog. My only criticism of the endings is having to collect all the weapons. I understand, like, doing certain things within a certain time to unlock the endings, fine. The game already has that speedrun element throughout. But yeah, particularly when it's just artificial bloating, in my opinion, with a little bit of payoff.
And I mean, I feel like they put that part in for the collector, because there are people out there. I am one of them to a degree, who has to collect everything, but I have to also be enjoying the game, and I can't. Collecting the weapons would probably be easy if you knew where they were.
Yeah, and there is a very good walkthrough on game FAQs, which, as the author goes through the story the first time, tells you all the weapons you can collect, like in a run through, because some weapons don't even unlock until after getting ending A.
Yeah. So and that just forces you to go back and play through certain chapters and verses, and it's a lot of work.
Yep. And apparently the rhythm section part was hard as shit. Obviously I watched a YouTube video on it, so they did it perfectly first time. But apparently, it's really hard. And I think it just shows like how Taro was willing to, I guess, breach the envelope even then. Like who the fuck puts their final boss as like a rhythm game in a hack and slash?
Yeah, that's
like it's just gold.
Yeah, it's weird, but I mean, at this point, Yoko Taro is probably the only person who would do something like that.
Yeah. And good on him. I look forward to seeing more of his crazy endings. Apparently he didn't have too much to do with 2 though. So that will be very interesting.
I've read that 2 is the weakest of the 3.
Yep. And we're going off the ending that I don't know if it features Kaim or any characters from number 1, but it's obviously not going to feature Angelus because she's made herself the goddess. Or it might. Yeah. I do look forward to seeing where they've picked up the story from ending
too.
A.
Like I said, the story was good. The gameplay was not. So.
Yeah. So that finishes up Drakengard, everyone. Thank you once again for listening. Go find us on our socials and join us next time for Ion Fury. And this has been Spectre approved. I am Adam.
And I'm Fenris.
And happy gaming.
Bye.